Hey Harmonizers, welcome to this video where we are picking up a new thoroughbred from the racetrack. This is the Fort Erie racetrack where we are coming to get Northern Serenade, and her barn name is Fairy. And so this is her coming over and meeting her for the first time. I saw her post on Facebook and decided I'd go out and pick her up because I was looking for another young jumper prospect, and you never know what they're going to be well suited for, but thoroughbreds have a lot of agility, they have a lot of talent and a lot of different disciplines. So this is her getting to our trailer and going on a little cautiously, but not a little clumsily, but goes onto the trailer and gets settled in, and this is arriving at the farm for the very first time. And understandably, she's on adrenaline, she's not sure, she's a little spooky, flights around a little bit, looking at everything, and totally understandable that this would be potentially overwhelming for her, having literally just come from the racetrack. And she wasn't working out at the track, and so she wasn't racing fast enough for them, so she's here to find a different career. I'm going to show you guys some of the highlights from transitioning a horse off of the racetrack and a little bit of getting her started in this process. So something that I really enjoy doing is working with thoroughbreds because I love their work ethic. I love that they have a personality that's kind of like mine, a little go, 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 and a lot of talent to do a lot of different things. And for me, a lot of the off-the-track training starts with physically helping them because they were being primed to be top athletes and high performance, which means that you're going to have muscle strain, you're going to have tightness when you're working at that high level and performing at those high speeds. So I like to cover my basis of doing some physical work for them, ideally some downtime while they transition and just get used to being a horse in the field, as well as just getting them checked over. So this is a fascia fit worker that is doing some work on Fairy, looking for areas of tightness and then helping her release those different areas. And it's interesting because in the beginning, you're going to see Fairy looking like this, where she was still kind of spooky looking around. There's lots happening and she doesn't really understand what's going on yet because this is the beginning of her session. And you can see she kind of looks over and is like, what is this human doing? Of course, there's things going on at our farm. You know, there's people walking by, there's other distractions. So it's not a totally quiet environment. And you can see she's not perfectly settled, not really releasing or anything. And then we're going to fast forward to later on in her session where she's really getting into it, realizing that this is here to help her and release tension. And she's given all of these releases, yawning, licking, chewing, and a lot of these faces are her processing and letting go of tension and realizing that this is feeling good. She's doing a lot more checking in with the body worker and a lot less of being spooked about what's going on around her, and instead starting to focus on herself a little bit more, which is nice. So a couple little details about Fairy is that she's a 3-year-old thoroughbred, and her sire is Seattle Slew, and she herself does not have any restarts on the board. She was not fast enough and hardy enough to make it all the way to the racetrack, and sometimes that can be because they're too slow. They have issues going in the starting gate. There are lots of different reasons why they don't make it all the way to racing. But she's a 3-year-old that started out the season trying to be a racehorse, and then pretty early on they decided that it wasn't the right fit for her because I ended up picking her up, I believe it was in May of 2025. So that's pretty early into the racing season that they were like, okay, this one's not going to cut it. And so at my place, there's no sort of timeline that I'm working towards. So even though I've done a lot of thoroughbred makeovers in the past, and I am excited to be back down judging the Florida Thoroughbred Transformation Expo. That's definitely a competition to check out if you've not been there or checked it out. You need to. But I've also done the thoroughbred makeover in Kentucky as well, multiple times, and had great success with the horses. But I do not have any specific things that I'm working towards. It's just like, you know what, I would like to get another young thoroughbred to bring along and do some things with. So it's part of a process that I love, being able to see them flourish into a new discipline. So we're going to do that and take our time. So this is her just starting that rehabbing process of getting her muscles and everything ready to do something different, because it's a totally different workload. And then also part of that is getting her barefoot again and getting those shoes off. This is her getting her Beamer treatment after having her fascia fit session done. So Beamers help improve the circulation, which can help with any healing or in the blood flow that you need to have all of that natural work done in your body. And then here's a little clip of her getting her racing plates off, because I love to transition them to being barefoot so their hooves can fully flex with them again. You can see her shoes there off on the ground, so getting those removed. And then after having some time to adjust to just being a horse out in the field, started some groundwork and training with her, which I like to do with the saddle on sometimes. So that way, if it seems like I'll be able to ride, then we ride. But also, it helps the horse not think differently when we come out with a saddle on versus with no saddle on. I want the horse to be just as relaxed in the whole situation, because we knew how she arrived was very tense and unsure, and I want her to be able to work through all of that tension and realize that training here is very different. We are no longer training to be a racehorse. We are going to do totally different things. So this is just a little clip of working on some of the groundwork, getting her to do a little sideways, of course introducing her to the positive reinforcement. So when I ask you try, you get rewarded, to help her with being more motivated to try, being more comfortable with that, and also realizing I'm not just trying to push her around or chase her around. There's something in it for her too, which helps them stay more relaxed, get more motivated, and be more eager to learn. So there's been a lot of research done with positive reinforcement training in animals and in horses, and they found in the studies that if you use positive reinforcement, your horse is going to learn a lot faster, like 4 times as fast. And when they did control group studies, they found that horses in the group getting the positive reinforcement often were able to successfully learn the task, whereas if not, they didn't always get the task, or it took significantly longer. So I wanted to share another clip of the beginning of the lunging work and how tense she is and pulling on me, head straight up in the air. When she canters here, she ends up swapping her hind legs there, so she gets a cross canter, which is all a sign of tension, which could be physical tension mixed with emotional tension of like, oh my gosh, we're running, like this is fast, like are we back at race training? Do you want me to go? I'm like, nope, this is totally different what I'm asking you to do. So I slow her down, I bring her in, and I'm encouraging her to get more soft and supple in her body. So this is not run around with your head up in the air, super hollow, bracing yourself, being stressed. This is slow down, lower your head, let your guard down. Let's get more relaxed through your body. So that way we can develop a better posture, help you feel better, and also start to develop the muscles that I would like her to develop, which is for riding, which are very different muscles than for racing, because this is not about propelling your body forward. This is about carrying me, and I'm a lot heavier than a jockey. So it's a totally different set of muscles and way of working with the horses. So I want you to learn to relax and lower your head so you can engage your core, lift your top line. So here when she starts trotting around with her head up in the air, instead I'm going to encourage her and be like, hey, can we think about lowering that posture and that build? And I don't mind that she slowed down to a walk there, even though I was asking for trot originally. It's like, hey, like let's slow down. Let's figure out how to use this body better. Relaxation in the posture. And so I'm actually going to be putting together a little course, an online course that shows these videos in more detail and explains more of the steps involved of all the pieces I do, because you can't just bring a horse out off the racetrack and start lunging them in circles, because that can be very disconnecting, because what happens is the horse perceives you as a predator that's just chasing them around in a circle. So there's a lot of other things I do before I get to the lunging piece, and even when I do start lunging, I'm very careful about how much I do. I work on this draw piece of inviting the horse towards me, and a lot of things to help the horse to stay thinking back to me, and ultimately trying to get that relaxation and understanding first, so that way we can start to communicate and I can give her different tasks and we can move forward from there. But it starts with a lot of beginning pieces of understanding body language and getting her into a thinking frame of mind. And so there's lots of other pieces that I'm putting together step by step to kind of share what are the things that I'm doing to help these thoroughbreds get to this relaxed state. And so this is the very beginning with Fairy, and you get to see what that looks like. And then in the end, I end up with horses that I'm able to do all sorts of things with, even going to the beach at Liberty. And this is pretty cool because after taking off the saddle, she's like, okay, I need to lay down. And this can be a common way for them to release stress and tension. So after they've gone into that kind of state, they can want to lay down and roll and just kind of shake that off of themselves. Of course, she got the rope around her foot a little bit, so she kicked out at it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for that to happen. So I just gather up my rope. But again, it's another training opportunity of like, it's not the end of the world. It's just the rope. It doesn't matter. And I allow my horses to lay down when they want to, because I love that they're sharing this vulnerable sign with me. So I want them to be comfortable doing that. But also I love to teach my horses to lay down on cue, which is super fun to do in freestyle competitions. My horses have done it while filming for movies. And I just think it's a beautiful thing for them to do. So when she lays down, I want to offer her that opportunity to lay down. And if anything, I'm trying to get close to see if I can offer her a cookie while she's laying down. Because I want her to understand that not only does this feel good for your body, and thank you for sharing this with me, but also I will offer you positive reinforcement for being down, because it starts to have them understand, okay, like going all the way down can be a thing that you're asking me to do. And this is totally different than racing. So it's something for her to connect the dots that this is not at all training for the racetrack. Totally different priorities. Super awesome. Like, check this out. She's laying down multiple times, feeling comfortable to do that. And I get right in there with my cookie. I'm like trying to, and then she jumps up. Like, sometimes horses jump up from laying down because they feel frisky or they felt vulnerable, didn't know what, I was doing right there. And I'm like, that's okay. Like, I was just trying to offer you a cookie. Let's get you off of your rope. And then I wanted to see how she was feeling. Like, did you want to do that again, your laying down piece? But ideally, as she goes to do that, I want to try to offer her that cookie while she's laying down, so that way she understands, okay, like this is a thing that I'm allowed to do, and Lindsay even wants me to do. Like, isn't that interesting? So overall in this session, it's about helping the horse find that relaxation piece. I want her to be in that calm thinking frame of mind where she's able to take in new information and not get so overwhelmed and so stressed, because we definitely saw that, especially when I got to the lunging, where she started cross-cantering and the head went way up in the air, and that was a lot of stress and tension showing up. And I want her to be able to move better in her body and not even get there. I don't want that to be a place that when we go to ride, that she starts to get her head up and get all angst up and get tight in her body and thinking it's go, 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 go time. Not at all. This is relaxed, talking to each other. You want to lay down together. That's great. And she was kind of sniffing the dirt a little bit. I thought, oh, maybe she's going to have another lay down. Although that would be odd, because horses usually when they lay down, they'll do a lay down on the left, and then sometimes they'll get up and do a lay down on the right, or vice versa. And then that's typically it. They don't usually even lay down a third time. That's also unusual. So she's already done more than what is typically enough for laying down. But I allowed her the opportunity to sniff, and it's like, okay, if this is something that you want to do, then that's going to be okay. And kind of giving her the space to have that. And look at her whole expression, just how much more chill, relaxed, head more relaxed, body movements compared to when she first started. This is just one session, already seeing so much change. So let me know what you think and what you're most excited to see from Fairy. Thanks for watching.
Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.